You can never tell me. You can never tell me. I won't rise.
Roll and go.
And I like to be transparent in everything that I do. So yeah, so not to get, start off on like a very, very sad note, but like this past Sunday, I had a friend of mine, he ended up passing away. He was hit by a car. And so, just dealing with all of those things. And I ended up recording an episode by myself. And so it would have dropped for today. So as I wake up and I'm getting ready, I'm like, oh, like, I usually get the notification on my phone. It's like, hey, new episode, Right Mind Podcast, new episode, cool. YouTube, Right Mind Podcast has uploaded a new video. And I'm looking and I'm like, there's no new episodes. So I go to Apple. I'm like, maybe Apple posted it, but like they forgot, send me a notification. You know how Apple is all the time. Nope. Episode 138 with LeVar. I'm like, okay, so I definitely forgot to upload that. So then I go to YouTube. I'm like, YouTube has to have it up. I know that I submitted it to put it up.
Yeah.
No.
Dang.
No, you know what I did? I don't know how I did it. This must have been just where my brain was at, right? All right. So I did upload it, but I thought I had uploaded the actual video for the episode that was supposed to drop. No, I re-uploaded LeVar's whole episode. Because
Dang.
yeah, I went like autopilot because when I go into like the upload part, like it'll automatically pull up my hard drive and like where I last was. So I was like, oh, episode whatever. Yep, click upload and like let it go because it takes like an hour or so. I'm like, just let it rock. Put the cover art, all that fun stuff. Cool, just let it rock. Thought nothing of it, and then I go to look. It's same LeVar episode. I never bounced. I completed it in the post edit.
But like, you didn't like.
I never bounced it.
Oh wow.
I never even bounced it.
Well, I mean,
I promise I won't do it this time. I'm in a much better headspace. I still have a lot going on, but I'm in a much better headspace of
Right.
all of those things. But it was just, I was like, man, but we're here. It's uploaded, I think. Or it should be relatively, at least on YouTube. It should be on Apple now. But
either that or uploading.
yeah, no,
right in the process.
Yeah, when I got down here, I was like, I'm gonna quickly just send this to upload first, and then I mean, I was between setting up cameras and everything else, but
I mean, the effort's there. I think that's what matters. The effort's there.
Exactly. As long as people can see that, I just want them to see the
right.
I just want them to know that we care.
Premiere, it's up.
Okay, I can feel it. Oh yeah, because I put it on.
Nice.
I put it on an instant premiere. I was like, you know what? Let's have some fun. But technically, if we were going back to our old ways, I think. I mean, I'm a little early, but it would have been like for our normal time because we used to drop it at like 7:30 on a Wednesday, and let's hit him in the morning. Let's drop it early in the morning. Just hit him in the morning. So I mean, like if we were in our old ways, it would be pretty on schedule.
Yeah.
So take that.
Nice.
Take that. But anyways, welcome to the Right Mind Podcast. Amanda, it is great to have you. Finally glad to be able to kind of connect and get this squared away. I know we're just kind of chatting about it a little bit, but how is everything going with you? How's everybody doing in general? We'll start with you.
Everything's been pretty good, other than, not seeing the sun in days, because Syracuse doesn't see the sun. It's been pretty good. I'm typically pretty busy, so like I don't get a ton of like downtime to just chill. But you know what I mean? I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be able to do something like this, especially, you know what I mean, with people not in my state. So I'm excited, dude. I hope you guys had a good day.
It was a pretty good day. I mean, I had work off. I always make it a point to
Must be nice.
Must be nice.
Must be nice.
I just chilled, for
just kick
entire
back.
day.
Just kick
I didn't
back.
do shit. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I did have work. Thanks. I don't know. I had a really long event yesterday at Gillette Stadium for one of the teen programs that I run, and so it's just a very long day. I was jumping around, taking pictures for the event, and trying to coach my teen and what she was doing. So just a lot of like more mental tiredness than anything. And I didn't really get to sleep the night before. It was probably because of the Kendrick concert that was literally happening right down the street.
I
So
know that was loud.
yeah, oh yeah, we heard it from the hotel. That's how
That's
loud.
insane.
Yeah, the hotel was maybe like 2 miles away
Wow.
from Gillette Stadium,
Yeah.
and it was we could hear the music like the whole time. It
That's
was
crazy.
crazy.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, needless to say, today I was just not in like the mental space to deal with a bunch of preteens, respectfully. But that is my job, and I got to show up. I did get some things accomplished, so I am happy about that. Some things that really needed to get accomplished. So I'm happy with that. So it was an accomplishing day. Just not a all there mentally want to necessarily be there kind of day.
I feel that. I feel that.
So and then yeah, like you said, on top of just not seeing sunlight. I mean, even yesterday I was inside all day, and it was such a beautiful day. And I'm
I
like,
do that too. Oh my goodness.
wow, outside looks really nice, and I'm
Just
inside.
open up the windows. The fresh air smells nice.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we did take a walk and stuff, but it's like you're in a suit. I mean, I was in a suit, like dress coat, suit, tie, all that stuff. I'm like, it's hot, and I'm like, nah, I'm hot. Like, I can't even enjoy it. Like, I want to be in a t-shirt and like shorts, not all with a suit on.
Yeah.
It's just not the same.
For sure.
But we're here. We're here. We made it. It's
We
another.
made it.
We made it. It's another day.
Not quite Friday yet though, but we made it. We made it halfway through the week.
Facts. I read this thing today. It was like nothing ruins your Friday, like realizing it's Wednesday. It's only Wednesday. And
No, literally.
I was like, I feel like God just put that in front of me for today because I literally saw it today. I was like, you meant for me to see this, dude.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, I know I'm already having a rough day, but like, you got to throw that little curveball in there and be like, joke's on you. Not done yet. But again, we're here. Almost Friday. It is almost Friday. Man is right. It's almost Friday. Creeping along. And then I got some travel. Yeah, so I'm gonna be traveling a lot. So how far is Syracuse from New York City? No, that's pretty far because you just set up.
So, yeah, so I'm about 5 hours from the actual city. Which is funny because I'm actually next weekend, for Memorial Day weekend, I'm going to Brooklyn, and that's like a 5 hour drive just about.
Jeez. I mean, New York is
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
big
the
in
same for
general.
us, pretty much.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us to get to that's crazy. Like she is in state and it
Yeah.
takes her 5 hours to get to the same spot in the same not the same spot, but a spot within the same.
Yeah.
But we have to
It's a
travel
big
through like
state.
2 states in order to get to the same spot.
Yeah.
Yo,
Dude, I was never good at geography. I can only imagine like living in somewhere like Texas, where that state is like 3 New Yorks. Imagine driving from one side of Texas to the other. Like you're
nah.
still in the same state, but that's like,
That was
you know
like
what I mean? That's a
that was-
crazy drive.
Dude, I've driven from Massachusetts to Texas, right? Mind you, it's already a long enough drive.
Right.
Like I hit the border of Texas, like, cross state lines, and I'm not even excited because and I'm going to San Antonio, which is like closer to the outskirts of the border of Texas. And I'm still like, nah, like we still got an easy like 5 hours
Yeah.
getting through Texas, just like you said. Like it just takes
Yeah.
And like just to get through the
Ever.
panhandle, it takes like 3 hours.
Yeah, it's
or
crazy.
more.
It's insane.
Yeah, my cap is 5 hours. If it's longer than 5 hours, I'm just gonna take a plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if I had the choice, like plane all day. Plane
Mhm.
all day. But my wife has a hard time with flying, not because of like the ups and downs and stuff. Like she has like ear stuff. So like obviously the
Ooh.
air and all that other stuff affects it a lot. So like we've done a lot of road trips. But like yeah, like I'm glad like for my job, they're like, yeah, we'll just like I'm going to New York in like Father's Day week, and I'm flying. Like they fly us out. I'm like, cool.
That's fire.
I'm like, it probably takes the same amount of. And what's crazy to me too, I know we're here for Amanda. But we're talking about air. Well, I was thinking about this last year, right? And so the same amount of time that it takes for me to fly to New York is the same amount of time it would take me to drive.
Yeah.
There's just not
That's crazy.
the waiting period, because you think like I arrive at the airport 2 hours early, so that's already 2 hours of like my time, and then the like hop, skip, and a jump 45 minutes, maybe an hour to get there to land, and then however long it takes you to get off the tarmac and
Yeah.
stroll into your thing. It's like an easy like 3.5 4 hours.
Yeah.
Well, like I could drive and get there faster, but I just don't want to drive. I would rather sit on a plane and let somebody else take care of the driving for me.
Right.
I'm all set.
It's so respectable though, honestly. It's so respectable.
But yeah,
If I had to, I would do it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Just,
yeah. If I had
just,
to.
just knock it right.
Right.
And just sit back and I'll just go 95 the whole entire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If somebody's gonna pay for it, yo, you better bet I'm gonna fly.
100%.
Yeah, because I did a trip to New York with my wife just to do like sightseeing and stuff. We stayed in Jersey and then just took the bus right into New York. It was easy. But anyways, enough about my travel stories. Again, Amanda, thank you. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you.
Do you want to just share a little bit as we get started, just a little bit for our fans, our listeners, just a little bit about what you do? Let's get to know you a little bit more and dive a little bit deeper.
For sure. So my name is Amanda Marie, of course. I'm an artist based out of Syracuse, New York. I started doing music 2022-ish.
Okay.
I dropped my first song, I want to say in August of 2022. I started performing a little over a year after that. And when I started performing, that's all I did. Like I was performing 2 days a week probably. And then I realized I was like, I need to calm down, to focus more on like writing and just, you know what I mean, getting my mind right. Like performing, I had no time for anything and it was just craziness. So now I try to focus on a lot of out of state stuff. As well, because I've performed so many times in my city. I was just ready to venture out, do other things. I do a little bit of everything too. I started off with hip hop and then I got into pop music. I have a little bit of country out. I'm dropping a jazzy type song soon, so I'm excited for
Oh,
that.
cool. That's dope.
So yeah, I'm a jack of all trades, kind of.
There we go.
Yeah, I like when people experiment with or I don't want to say experiment, but they try new things. Like they don't just like
Hmm.
one like life. Will tell you like he's been trying to get into. I mean, I'm speaking for him, but getting into like some country and stuff, and I try to dabble on like the R&B side, not like a singer, but just like that feel of it, and
Hmm.
you know, and stuff like that. So it's cool to see. I like when people try to experiment and not try to stay specifically into one thing. If that one thing is like where your lane is at, like by all means, like stick with that.
Oh
But
yeah.
as a music listener, too, I try to separate the two. Like artist and music listener is, trying to appreciate when people try different things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's the way to go too, because I mean, sticking to one thing, like eventually it's gonna sound the same. You're gonna run out of ideas, and like where else do you go from there? And then, like we're in a culture that like wants to that they want a piece of everything. You know what I mean? Like the average listener doesn't only listen to hip hop or only listen to R&B. They listen to like everything. You know what I mean? So like if you have the talent, if you have the resources and all that stuff, like why not?
Oh yeah, dude, 100%. I listen to literally everything, so that's why I've always wanted to make like every genre. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna listen to that genre, I want to make a song in that genre.
For sure.
Yeah, I always loved when, like, I remember this is, I mean, I'm maybe dating myself a little bit. It was, of course, I forgot the name of the country band. It was Nelly. Okay, now I gotta Google.
Nelly and Tim McGraw,
No, not Tim
um,
McGraw.
Florida
Um,
Georgia Line.
Florida Georgia Line. So they did a song. What's the name of the song? I know you.
I know exactly what you're talking about too.
I gotta fact check this.
It's such a classic too. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
It's such a classic.
Maybe you a song, you make me want to roll my wind.
Cruise.
Is it just Cruise? Is it just Cruise?
Yeah.
Yeah, when that came out, I was like, yo, I love when people just start doing stuff like that. Like just the meshing of like different stuff. I'm like, yo, just creating that sound. It's
Dude,
just super dope.
Moneybag has a song with Morgan Wallen, and that's one of the craziest things ever to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never would have expected that.
Yeah.
It's a fire song too.
Yeah, just the crossbreeds of all that stuff. It's just super cool because it just adds something totally different that you just don't expect.
For
And you're
real.
just like,
It's mind blowing.
yeah, you're like, I didn't know it
Hmm.
was possible, and I'm all for it. I'm here for all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I
super
freaked out when when Russ and
Jelly Roll,
yeah, but
the
like
Russ and Jelly Roll song.
Russ and Ed Sheeran.
Oh, that's a classic too.
I,
That's a fire song.
I forget what that one was called, but like that came out. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, I love just I know I think the song, there was another song too. It's hard fought hallelujah.
Mm.
Yeah, hard fought hallelujah, Brandon Lake and Jelly Roll. I was like, again, it's like these songs, like I didn't know that I needed these songs until I heard it, and now I'm here for all of it, and I'm super excited. Super
Do you
excited.
produce your own music, or like do you outsource for that? Do you like buy beats and then
So
write?
I just buy beats. I buy my beats and then I write, and then I have a studio that I go to. And lucky for me, my engineer officially moved back to Syracuse because he was living in Brooklyn for a while.
Okay,
Mm,
So
yeah,
he would come down to Syracuse for like 1 week per month. So you know what I mean? It was hard to actually like catch him.
yeah,
And now he lives back in Syracuse, so he's, you know what I mean? He's around Monday through Friday.
that's great. You know that'll ramp up the consistency, and like you guys can be as consistent as you want now since he's right there.
mm.
Oh yeah, shout out Shiggy. It's my dude.
Shout
Word.
out.
So were you were those times like you would have to like wait for him, or were you like finding alternative like ways to like get your music created?
It depended on how like fast I needed a song done.
Sure.
Like if, you know what I mean, if somebody hit me up and they're like, "Yo, I need this feature by next week" or something like that, I would just go
Mm,
to a different engineer because we do have a ton of like music places in Syracuse. We have a ton of recording places. So if I had to go somewhere else, that's what I would do. But if it wasn't super urgent and I'm like, I have these songs, but they don't need to get done, I would just wait for him to come back.
Mm.
I feel that. I feel that. That's like kind of like with like Mikey V, and then working with Mertz at the bridge. Like sometimes like if I need something, like, I can, because I have a studio at my house, so like I'll just record it, and I'll send it off to one of our guys that we've worked with for a very long time, Mikey V. Shout out to Mikey V. He's done a lot of our projects. I'm like, yo, like I need this like now, like you said, like right now.
Hmm.
He'll knock it out and super quick.
Sometimes same night. Like sometimes we'll get
Yeah.
something back same
That's
night.
fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey man, like can you just like grab this, and when you get a chance, can you like, you know, just work on it? We get all the particulars out of the way or whatever, what I'm looking for. And then all of a sudden be like, I'll get like an email in the morning. It's always in the morning too. He'll send it like, cause he's like a night owl, and he'll send it early in the morning, and he'll be like, yeah, so I had some time last night and I got it done. Dude, I just sent it to you. Like, but that's cool. It's great. I love it. And it comes out just
Right.
in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good to have like those back pocket, just people that you have you have a good relationship with, and two,
Hmm.
you'll get some good stuff out of it. And if you're in a bind, you're like, okay, like it'll be great quality. I'm not gonna like suffer anywhere if I go to like Joe Schmo and comes out like trash. You have people
Oh
that
yeah.
you can rely on. Because I've had that happen to me where I'm like, yo, I need a song, and I'll reach out to somebody, send it, and it just comes out not the way I envisioned it,
Yeah.
For sure.
and it hurts.
It's so painful.
Well, I feel like
I
it's
don't
way.
think I've ever not been happy with a song that like if I've had to like send something to my engineer,
Mm,
get something done. I don't think I've ever been like, I don't think I like the way that sounds. Like I think I got lucky, like
mhm.
that I actually have like a good resource where I'm like, I've never not been happy.
Yeah. And I'm sure you guys like already have like really good chemistry. So like every single time, like you just trust his vision enough where it's like, okay, here you go. Like I trust you with wherever you want to go with it.
Mhm.
And it comes sometimes that I'm sure that person does like more than what you envisioned, which is cool.
100%.
Yeah. You got any like upcoming projects or singles, videos, or just like
So
lay it anything you're allowed to tell us?
so technically I'm not promoting it yet, but I am like super super excited for it. I'm dropping it's a song called The Notebook, and it's I don't know if you guys have seen the movie,
Yeah,
if you guys have been in love.
yeah.
But
Yeah, definitely.
but it's a song 100% about the notebook, but from Noah's perspective.
Mm,
So, since I was like 16, one of my best friends at the time showed me the movie The Notebook, 'cause I'd never seen it. And the first time I watched it, I fell in love with that movie. And every like couple months, I rewatch it. So for the last 10 years, I've been rewatching The Notebook every couple months.
No,
And one day, huh?
I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen that movie.
so
Every time it was on
Favorite
TV.
movie.
Yes, man.
It's
so
so good.
so in the song, are you just screaming, "What do you want?" the whole time? What do you
Those are
want?
the ad libs. Those are the ad libs. No.
That is awesome. What do you
No,
want?
it's really not. It's not. It's not.
Uh,
But it's it's like a really emotional,
yeah.
like, I don't know, it's different. I haven't really dropped anything quite like it. And I found out recently that a lot of people prefer my singing over my rapping, which I'm like, this is news to me. But I'm pretty excited for it. It's just a full singing track.
Cool.
Yeah, I was actually gonna share that with you too. I was listening to some of your music, and a lot of and it's not an again, it's not a knock on the rapping part. It's just like for me as a listener, like that was what like gravitated me more. You know what I mean? Like that was
I
like
totally get that.
tuning in like more to it. And again, not saying that the rapping was bad. It's just that's just how my brain works. But yeah, kind of the same thing. It was just like the singing was. I was like, yeah, okay. Like here's some like Post Malone vibes in here, and
Oh
I'm right
yeah.
with it. So
It's so funny because I never liked my singing. I always preferred my rapping. I was like, I sound like crap when I sing. I can't sing. I'm not that good. And to find out that most people prefer my singing, I'm like, okay, like I would prefer to do more singing. I
mhm.
just think rapping is easier for me. You know what I mean? Like it's easier to just create bars off the top of my head and stuff like that. But I definitely want to do more singing stuff. And I think I'm gonna start gravitating a little bit, at least doing like half and half and
Yeah.
Yeah.
not leaning towards one.
Hmm.
You know what? Like you and I are following the same path because like I started with hip hop. Like, I mean, I
Hmm.
singing. I've been singing since. The ironic thing about it is like I started singing when I was like 5 or 6, but like I started with rap. I would write rap verses. I would sing my own hooks, and then this guy over here, he says, "Yo, like you gotta come out with R&B. You say you do some R&B and pop stuff with that, but I hadn't heard it yet.
Yeah,
You
you
know what
gotta
I mean?
perform
So
it. You
Right.
sing it.
and
You
then I
gotta
was like, all
do it.
right, bet. I didn't mean to take a year off, but like,
That's
but now
funny.
it's just like all coming together.
That's fire.
Yeah,
Yeah. I forget who was it Zafir that we were talking to? Because you brought up a point like, rapping is easy and that's what, you enjoy doing. Again, I say this
it's
loosely
something that
more.
everybody can do.
It was more in the sense of when we were talking about songs and we were like, we're like, oh, like this song is gonna be a fire hit because I invested so much into it and I put so much thought and effort and this and that and the third into it. But then people are like, the song that you like were just super lax about and like just like not put everything into it, but just like and not that you didn't care about it, but like again, you weren't so like focused on the errors that you just did it. And those were the songs that people are like, yo, that's like my favorite song off your project. And you're like, that's not the song I expected people to like. But because like I wasn't so like internally focused on like the so minute things about it, like I just let it flow and I just
Yeah,
let it be its natural self sometimes. So like I think that's I know I'm like all these weird crazy words and stuff, but
but it's better to like be like more free flowing with it rather than like be like too nitpicky about like certain things that you hear in the song that you may not like. I mean, sometimes you have to do that, but like it's more natural when you just like let it flow and just let it happen.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So that's why I think like people are more gravitated towards maybe people are gravitated more towards the singing because it's like it's one of those things. Like I said, when there's certain songs, again, not that I don't care about it, but I'm just like, I just want to create it and just have fun and just do it. And it ends up just being something beautiful, versus like something that I'm like, hovering massively over. And again, not that it's not a good song, but just people. I think there's a different vibe that you get from a song that you're just like, I'm gonna just do it and see what happens,
Yeah.
and then versus the like, this is the directive, this is how it needs to hit, this is how it needs to sound, this is
Right.
where my
Exactly.
bars need to go, bam, 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 bam. And again, having that is great, but I think the sounds come out different.
Yeah. Gotta have a little bit of
Yeah,
balance.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely agree.
Keep
Yeah.
singing, keep singing, keep singing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, long
I think
story.
the next couple of tracks might be really singy, to be honest.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, long story less long. Keep singing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I like to talk a lot.
For sure.
Weird. Only on the podcast, and it's not because I have a microphone in front of me, but I think it's just I enjoy having conversations. Because like if you see me out in public, I don't really talk. You know
Yeah.
that. Like he knows that. Like I'm super chill. Even at shows, I will talk to people, but I'm not that person that is. And maybe that's a character flaw, especially being an artist, of going out and actually talking to
Yeah.
people. But
Right.
I just chill. I'll people watch and I kind of gauge things too. Is this person somebody that I need to talk to? Is it going to benefit what I'm trying to do, or am I just is it gonna be one of those like, hey, yo, what's up? Oh yeah, great to meet you. Yo, we should collab, and
then
then
have that be
crickets,
it.
and then
And
crickets
yeah.
for 4 months, and then it's like, oh hey, yo, I remember you wanted to, yo, we should collab, yo, what's up? And then nothing for another. I want to, I'm trying to be very particular, like you said, not performing in your city and trying to find other spaces. Like I'm trying to do that with like people too, and just being strategic about those things, especially where I'm at in my career. When it comes to me, on the music side of things, is trying to be very methodical with how I'm interacting with people, and what I'm trying to do as the cat creeps across the
Yeah.
page.
I was like, I wonder if anybody noticed.
I saw the end tail like creep through, and I was like, hey, yeah, I got 2 cats, so no worries.
Oh, I have two as well. My babies.
Yeah, I got 2 cats and a dog.
That's dope.
I got to get Nyla on an episode for sure.
Nyla?
Yeah, that's my dog's name. She's super chill.
That's cute. One of my cats' name is Nala, so it's pretty close.
From Lion King. Sounds fair. Sounds right.
And then, of course, the boy is Simba, so
Oh, there
See,
we go.
see,
basic,
Yeah.
basic.
never that, never that. I know you had some questions.
Oh yeah.
You wanna fire up some questions? We came a little prepared, a little outside our box, but
Hey, it be like that. We're here for the vibes.
Exactly.
we're trying to do something different too. We're not just trying to be like, so where did you like make your first song?
Right.
What was like we'd like to dive a little bit deeper. So
Right. Yeah.
I miss you.
What is the main message you want your audience to resonate with the most through your music?
I would say it's gonna sound kind of cheesy, but 100%, like, be yourself and don't let anybody take it away from you.
Oh, absolutely.
Cause like I struggled a lot with just like coming to terms with like who I am as a person and loving myself. Like for a while I didn't because I was still trying to find out like who am I? Like what type of person am I even? So like since I started doing music, one thing that like I've learned is like you have to love yourself, you have to be confident in yourself. And you know what I mean? Don't let anybody take away like, oh, you shouldn't be that, you shouldn't do that. Like just, you know what I mean? Be yourself. At the end of the day, that's gonna make you the happiest.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's so
You
hard
should
to
never.
go ahead.
You should never like you know try to conform or like fit into like a certain mold that like everybody wants to see you in, because I mean it's just not authentic. You know what I mean? It's just simply be yourself. Just be you, and the rest will follow. Whoever
Yeah.
is down for the ride, great. Um, but if there's certain people that don't like it, it's not for them, and you know
hmm
those people be.
I was just having that conversation the other day where I'm in a group chat with a bunch of people and somebody had sent a song And half the people were like, this doesn't sound good, I don't like that, and the other half were like, no, I think it sounds pretty good. And it turned into the conversation of, listen, if you like it, other people are going to like it. If there's people that don't like it, it's not meant for them. You know what I mean? There's people that don't like Beyonce, so hello,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a fan base. There's a fan base for everybody, and you just have to like know and trust. Again, going back to Sapphire, like people, like a lot of people just don't care, you know. And I say that,
Hmm.
say that respectfully. It's like there's not a lot of music that I like, and as an artist, it's like as artists, we have to take a step back and be a listener for half a second and be like, bro, do you listen to everything? No. So people probably aren't. Everybody's not going to listen to you.
Hmm.
Respectfully, again, respectfully. So
Yeah.
don't get butthurt if you send a song to somebody and they're like, you know what, like wasn't really feeling it. Okay,
Yeah. I've always had the
thank you
mind.
for listening.
I've always had the
Yeah.
mind of like, if I can impact just one person,
Mhm.
like I've done my job, because that one person is gonna take. All it takes is just one. That's just own case. But like that one person is gonna tell another person, and that person is probably gonna tell like another five. You know what I mean?
That's the mindset to have.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, being authentic is true. It actually brings up.
People see that too. Like they can
Mhm.
tell like if you're being real or not.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, which actually brings up. So I don't want to. I don't want to. Again, Life and I were talking about this off air as I was telling him what I was going to ask, because it's like one of those things. Like you started off with like I'm not trying to be, but then like it's going to sound like it, but I'm really not. I'll you know what, I'm gonna just go for the question, right?
Go
So
for it.
my question is because we were talking just being like your authentic self and stuff like that. Now, first of all, like I'm glad you said when you introduced yourself, what I really liked too was you're like, I'm an artist. Because I think sometimes what people do is they're like, oh, I'm a female artist, or they put that like attachment to it. So because we just had an episode where we had just Jill, Sassy, Joy Beats, and Nancy on. We had an all girl podcast come on to excuse me, kind of share their perspectives, because as a podcast we're kind of a more male dominated podcast, and so we want to give opportunities for people to share their perspective that is outside of ours. And so one of the things that I mentioned was like, we have an artist in our collective, her name is Chemic, and I was like, Chemic, when I see her perform, I'm not like, yo, that's a dope female artist. I'm like, yo, that's a dope artist, she can rap.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I know I'm going a roundabout way of asking this question, but the industry does separate, unfortunately. Do you feel that there are things that you need to do, have to do as a female artist that may be different than like the male counterpart in like trying to reach your goals? Not
Right.
just industry, like I want to be successful, but like your specific goals.
In a way, I'm gonna say yes. For the sheer fact that I feel like females obviously get looked at different than males. You know what I mean? When you see a female, the first thing you're gonna be like, oh, she's attractive, or oh, she's not attractive. And I feel like 9 times out of 10, and I might be a little biased here, but I feel like 9 times out of 10, if you see somebody that you don't find attractive, you're gonna be like, I don't really care about, what they're posting, what their music is. I'm not attracted to them, so I don't care. So like I do feel like as a female, I have to like give off more of that like feminine, like I don't know how to exactly explain it, but it's like a good way for me to promote my music is what a lot of people would consider thirst traps.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it automatically brings your eye to the post. So then you're gonna be like, oh, there's a song attached to the post. Oh, that's her. Oh, maybe I should listen to her music because I like the way, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
so that's like part of my marketing. Because I feel like if I just post like a picture of a flower and be like, I have a new song dropping, it's not gonna hit a lot of people's algorithm. But if I post a selfie, oh, I have a song dropping, people are gonna be like, oh, okay, I might check that out.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like a video and
Mhm.
or like want to see you as well.
Yeah. I think again,
There's like some guys. There's some guys out there that do that too.
yeah. Like my
Oh
perspective,
yeah.
Yeah.
my opinion, again, very skewed and objective, is like I feel from what you're saying, and I'm just trying to like add on a little bit, is again my perspective is like I feel like for females in the industry, like image comes much higher than like what the music is. You know, like you said, because it's like
Mhm.
how I look and how people view me is the first thing that they get before they even hear the music. So if I don't capture them
Mhm.
in what they see in me, they're definitely not even gonna take a minute to look at the songs,
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 100%.
which is crazy. And again, I know that image matters when it comes to men, but I feel like it's on a much lesser scale and a little bit more balance where it's like, okay, like, you know, he cleans up pretty nice. And then, oh, yo, he raps too. Oh, yo, dude's killing it.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I don't like the like, oh, like certain people have to try harder. You know, we all have to work hard.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
the music industry is not easy in itself. But it's like, why are there barriers for certain people when it comes to just like, if you make really great music, like that should be the focal point of it. And then
Mhm.
have, you know, start scaling back on the, not scaling back, but like, then start picking apart those other things. Okay, yo, music is great. This is what, because the music is the product. Then, okay, now it's the image, like, because we got to sell the image too. But it's
Right.
like, let's make sure the music works first. Because sometimes they're just like, yo, dope image, and then the music is trash, and they're like, we can't stand on anything. Why isn't anything selling? Well, you forgot to check the music.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's, you know, I just don't like especially nowadays. I just don't like this the still kind of like unfair advantage that is with music. You know, especially for females. It's like, dude, there's some, like I said with the when the girls were here, there's some dope females that will rap bars around me, and I'm okay with that. You know, it doesn't make them any lesser, and they shouldn't have to work any harder than I have to.
Right. And I
It's
get that, you know what I mean? That's just how it is. And it sucks that the industry is this way.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? You gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I totally understand. That's what I'm saying. Like this is like, you know, my perspective viewing from the outside. I am not
Mhm.
no expert. I'm trying to learn here. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm trying to learn and understand because you know my perspective is only from a very small lens. So I want to, and again, share this with other people that are listening to this. Be like, you know, yeah, it is hard, but you know what? Like you said, just got to do what we got to do, and you know, if we can hope for change, but if it doesn't change, then we still got to do what we got to do.
Exactly.
100%. And I've
Because
had this conversation so many times with people. I've
Hmm.
had it so many times because it is like, it's funny because it feels like 50% of people think that being a female artist is easier, and then the other half think it's harder. And I'm still on the like, I can't quite tell if it's easier or harder. You know what I mean? I don't want to say that, you know what I mean? I struggle harder than anybody else because everybody has their struggles. It's not easy for anybody.
yeah.
Um, so it is just, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's just crazy the way that the industry works and how we have to kind of conform to what we need to be in order to get somewhere.
Right.
And it is part of the authenticity thing. Like I am still being myself, doing what I feel like I need to do.
Yeah.
um, I'll never forget when I first started performing, I didn't really wear like heels, I didn't wear dresses, skirts, none of that. I'd had more of like a tomboyish look just because I cared more about being comfortable than my image.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And an artist that I looked up to a lot at the time, he had told me, he's like, let your hair down, put on a skirt, put on some heels, like you're a woman, you're a female, and like, and it hit me, and at first I'm like, "I'm not gonna do what you tell me to do, like, I'm gonna be what I want." And then I sat for, like, a week, and I'm like, "He's got a point, though, like, I do wanna be more feminine." I
Mm.
was just picking comfortability over anything else, and now, like, I wear skirts, I wear heels, and I do feel more comfortable being the feminine side, and my performance videos do a lot better, people look at me a lot more at shows, you know what I mean? It's just little things like that that, you know what I mean, sometimes you gotta tweak. And it, you know what I mean? It might be for the best and you can still be yourself at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. As long as you're like still sticking with like just who you are and what you want to do versus kind of what you were, maybe leading to. It's like, oh, I want you to do this, but like I really don't want to, but you need to do that, and then doing it anyway just because somebody tells you versus like being like, no, let me think about this for a second. Okay, this is something that I am comfortable with 100%. This is me. This is what maybe I needed that pep talk to be like, no, like go do that because I've been wanting to do that. So now it's like, okay, I'm gonna step into that role versus just, somebody telling you and you're just like, I don't really feel it, but I'm gonna do it because he told me to. You know,
Exactly.
some people do that, and then like, you can see the uncomfortability on them as they're, performing or maybe engaging with people. They don't feel the same and they're not their authentic self. And then it
Hmm.
really reads, either in the music or like I said, if you're talking to people, it just shows. And then you're just like, something's missing here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yep.
glad that you're, doing things that you want to do, and just sticking true to that authenticity for sure.
100%. Sometimes it just takes that little push.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. That's why I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I love these like podcasts and episodes because, and having artists on, because you get those perspectives. And sometimes people are like, yeah, like you should try this or I do this. And it's like, you know what? Like, I have been, like I said, like I have been thinking about doing that. And I see that it's like kind of working for somebody. Let me take that leap and try it out for a second.
Yeah.
For
So,
sure.
um, I forget what I was gonna. There was something I was gonna add to that too, or like kind of like flip back to you. What else do you have? What else you got?
So this one is hold on.
Stay ready. You ain't gotta get ready.
Dang, this one's huge. This we're probably gonna rant like an extra 45 minutes on this one. uh, the biggest thing you wish to accomplish within the next 5-10 years, and how do you think it'll translate into the rest of your career?
Ooh, that's a good one. The biggest thing I want to accomplish,
Yeah.
I'd say I wanna be able to sell out like an arena. Nothing too crazy, but like I want to be able to sell out like a real venue because I haven't done that yet.
Mhm.
Right. Like House
Um,
of Blues, Palladium,
huh?
like House of Blues, Palladium, stuff like
Yeah, like
Bank of
I want to be able to do that. You know what
yeah.
I mean? I think the biggest show that I've done since I started performing probably had about 100-ish people there, and that's a decent amount of people. Don't get me wrong, that's a lot of people. But it also wasn't my show. You know what I mean? Like I want to headline a show and I want that show to sell out because that's gonna make me feel like I'm actually accomplishing something. Like ticket sales are not easy.
No,
You
not
know
at
what I mean? Like ticket sales, like it don't matter how many fans you have, people will buy tickets and not show up, or people will say they'll buy tickets and then forget. So
yeah.
like just selling tickets in general is hard. So as soon as like I feel like I can actually sell tickets and sell out a place, that's when I'll be like, okay, like I'm actually like this is a big step for me. You know what I mean?
Right. That would be dope. Just like every single show, like and like you're able to like tour off that, and like
Yeah.
no matter how much time you take off, you'll go back in it. Like you'll drop another album, go out and like do something bigger, and like still people show up for you. That's the dopest feeling ever.
Right? Hearing the crowd sing back to you, the crowd knowing your
Mhm.
songs, stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's always been a dream of mine.
Yo, my dream venue would be freaking end game would be like the Red Rock Amphitheater.
Red Rock Amphitheater.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think there's, I've been in kind of similar situation as you. You get on these kind of bigger shows, but you're not the headliner, and it's like great to have those like 100 plus people, but to have that feeling
It's
of
not
like,
that's not easy to maintain.
yeah,
Yeah.
but to have a show where people show up and they're like specifically there for you, and like you said, like to have people uh re- uh responding back to you, singing with you, like really just like rocking out with you, like I that's definitely a goal of mine that I would like to have too. I've always envisioned, for me, it's Wisin y Yandel song. It's called with Enrique Iglesias. And I'm not good at Spanish, so don't mind my horrible enunciation of this. Gracias a ti. And what
That was
happens is
pretty good. That was really
I
good.
try.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad at all.
I try. So what happens in the video? They're in some sort of stadium or whatever. We'll just say it's like Madison Square Garden or something for the sake of visual purposes. And they're in the middle of this, like the floor, like it's like center court, if you will. And then the fans are all around them, and they just come up from like the floor,
Yeah.
and like you can just see everybody like around you. Like I want that feeling, and like the crowd just like cheering.
I can only imagine how that would feel too, because like I see documentaries like from the artist perspective, and then just people. It's just to see people like you know what I mean? I don't know how else to describe that. That's crazy though. Like even just seeing it like through a screen is just nuts.
When I like go to shows like actual like artists, like for example like a Doja Cat show or something like that, I look around and like I'll look at the crowd and be like, I can only imagine if all these people were looking at me. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like what if like that was me down there and all these people are there for me? And then
Yeah.
I have a mini panic attack because I'm like, would I be able to do it? And then I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'd be able to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I was like pulling up the video.
We're at a point where like we've spent years and years preparing ourselves for that moment. So like it'll be extremely nerve-wracking, but like
I want that nervousness, dude.
I
Like,
want that. Yeah.
like, or coming out from the back, like you just hear people like stomping or
Yeah.
chanting,
And then you come out, it's just an explosion of like
yeah,
For real.
and it's not even like for me, it's, I mean, and I'm sure it's for everybody that's in this room and obviously on screen, if you will, you're in the room. It's like it's not even like the fame part of it. It's just like being around a bunch of people that truly enjoy your music.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yo,
Mhm.
be here for this music and this moment and this thing that you created and put the blood, sweat, the tears literally into, to just like let off mental health and anxiety and happiness and joy that you've just poured into these songs.
Yeah.
And for people to be like, yo, I just want to be here for that.
Right, exactly.
Oh yeah, 100%. I know I'm gonna cry when that happens to me.
Yep.
The day that I have a sold out show, like I'm gonna cry on stage. I'm gonna be like, listen, we're taking a minute together, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I would, I don't know, I would start coming on stage, and then as soon as I see it, like it's just, I'm gonna break down and just be
Yeah.
like we're here, like this is crazy,
Yeah.
like this is crazy, and then they're gonna have to stop the song and be like you said, I'm like, guys, you're gonna have to give me a minute because this is just a beautiful moment right now. I don't think you guys truly understand what this moment means to me right now. Like
Yeah.
I pray and I hope for that moment to
Yeah.
just have that.
100%.
Like, yeah, that's a cool goal.
I think anybody would, like, even if you're not like
I hope you would.
typically an emotional person, like, yeah, it I don't know, man. It would just hit.
Yeah, I hope people would. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I feel like, I mean, not to say like if you don't cry, like you're, you don't care about it, but it's like I
Yeah.
feel like having that moment like just shows like how much like it means to you and how much you value it.
Right.
It isn't just about the fame, but it's just the fact of like just people being there to support you for,
Right.
and what you've been trying to do and accomplish for.
It goes to show how many other people like care just as much as you care about your craft.
Mhm.
Because like we spend so much time like worrying about, okay, like is this gonna resonate? Oh, no one cares about this, blah blah blah. I feel like I'm on a decline or whatever. Like we all have like our things as an artist that there might be like a roadblock or 5 that like makes us feel like
100%.
is this really what I should be doing or
Mhm.
stop? But like that is confirmation that you're right where you need to be.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've like thought about stopping create music. Is this going to be for me? Is there a different career path? And every single time just something pops up. I get a new beat or I get a new song idea and I'm like, there's no way I can just stop,
Yeah.
you know? even with the other million of things that I'm doing and other career paths that I'm chasing, it's just like everything intertwines with itself that I'm just like I can't stop. Cuz like if even though I work with teens and I'm making music, like the things that I'm doing in music are inspiring the teens to do things that they want to do. So it's like if I stop and be like, "Oh yeah, you know what? I just kind of just like quit music." They'd be like, "Dude, like you were inspiring me to pursue that as a career."
Right.
And then you tell me you stop, like that it's kind of like counterproductive, like, you
And
know what I mean?
there's always someone out there too that listens to your music every single day, like all day, every day. They may not like, be like outspoken about it, but like when it comes down to it, they're like, dude, like I still listen to, the first ever thing that you've put out. You
Mm-hmm.
be like 20 albums deep, but like there's always, this small group of people that like they just listen to the very first thing you did still.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I've
You go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say go ahead. But I've had moments where like, and it's always when like I'm feeling down about my music and feeling like I'm not good enough, and the typical artist way. Um,
Yep.
and I've had people message me and they've been like, "Hey, I was listening to this song and I want to let you know like I was going through a tough time, and that song helped me pull me out, help like, you know what I mean, make my day and get me out of this situation I was in that I was feeling." And like that right there is a good reason where I'm like, I can't stop. You know what I mean? Like, how could I stop making music that's inspiring people? Because that's one thing that I've always wanted to do. Like my whole life I've always wanted to make music, partially because like music was big in my life growing up,
Yeah.
to where like that's what saved me from myself a lot of times. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna crash out, let me just put on the headphones, take a minute and listen to these songs that mean a lot to me. And if I can create music that make other people feel that way,
Mhm.
then you know what I mean? I can't stop. I can't stop now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
a
would say like 2020. Sorry, I don't mean I can cut you off.
you're good.
Screw what you have to say, Jay.
You've
Like
done enough talking.
2023 probably the toughest year for me because I was just like dealing with like scumbag promoters,
Mhm.
saying they're gonna do one thing and then it turns out to be complete shit. Or like, I mean, the last, well, maybe it wasn't the last straw because I'm still doing music. I'm still doing my shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, out of that entire year, like the moment that I had enough was like I got booted off a big set. Like it was supposed to, like I paid for my set. It was like a 20, like it was like 20 minutes, in front of like bigger name people. Um, Taiwan, like they had like a certain time that I was supposed to go on and perform, and like they just kept setting back the time. I was probably there until like midnight and still nothing happened. I got booted off the set. You know what I mean? And my content creator at the time was with me. I'm like, you know what, man, I quit, man. I've had enough. I'm fucking done. Like this is bullshit. You know what I mean? But the more I sat back, I took a break. That's the entire rest of the year. But then like the next year came around, I'm like, you know what? Like I'm not done yet. Like what would I be if I just stopped? You know what I mean? Because like if I'm not creating, if I'm not doing something toward something I love, then like I'm not happy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you can get hit 1,000 times, but like you have to sit back and take a moment and like remember like why you even got into it like in the first
In the
place.
first
You know what I
place,
mean?
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think there's also a moment too where, and not saying necessarily what you dealt with, because promoters can be definitely be scumbags, but like I think there's moments too where like you start to think of, or you have to look at it as, is this trying to tell me that I should be quitting, or is this a moment where it's just telling me like I need to take a break and
Yeah.
just take a pause
Yeah.
and just like regather myself, let life happen for a minute, let me get some new content, maybe some new material for my writing. Maybe I am going too gun ho. It's
Mhm.
not really trying to tell you that you need to stop, like, all these roadblocks. Maybe it's just trying to tell you need to like, and I'm not saying in your example,
Yeah.
but just to cool off and just kind of all right, you've reached a certain point. Let's figure things out. Let's see where we're at. Let's get the bigger picture and then see, okay, where we need to kind of plot out what our next moves are versus just constantly like go, 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 go. Because then you can't really see what's in front of you because your head is down
Yeah.
and not really looking at what's kind of happening around you.
Yeah.
We get those blinders as artists, and it's just like, dude, like slow down for like a second sometimes.
And of course, like as a business, as a brand, like you're gonna have slow seasons. You're gonna have, you know, a year or like however much time passes where it's gonna be
Couple months.
bad. You know what I mean? And that's not a knock on like, you know, yourself as an artist. It's just a bad season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely be like that.
Like this winter, it kept freaking snowing. Like, we get a foot of snow. All right, you know, tomorrow is okay. The next day, oh, we're gonna get another 14 inches. Great. Just what I
Oh
need.
my goodness, the end of our winter was the worst.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, New York gets it way harder than we do.
Man, I have PTSD from this year, I can't lie. Cause like we would have like an 80-degree day, and then it would snow really bad for like 3 days straight. And then we'd have like a 70-degree, maybe sunny day. And
Yeah.
then it would snow again for like 3 days straight. And it's like, bro, I can't do this. My immune system is screaming.
Yeah.
Dang, I thought New England was bad with the weather change, but to have a 70-degree day and then just get pummeled by snow is
It's been insane.
Yeah.
that's crazy. So I was listening to some of your songs, and I know we were just kind of touching on that. But just wanting to see if you wanted to dive a little deeper. So you had said, music had kind of saved your life. Could you maybe explain a little
Mhm.
bit more on, maybe what that was for, maybe again, whatever you're comfortable with, but maybe somebody out there is, maybe that just that one person that's out there that's like maybe struggling with it too, that could, be inspired by it as well.
Yeah, so I've always written as well. I used to write poetry a lot. Because I was a pretty angry kid. I was a pretty sad, angry kid for a lot of my life. And when I was like really young, I remember my mom had this pair of headphones and they just had the radio on them. They had two AA batteries and they had the radio.
Hmm.
And when I would like crash out, she'd be like, put the headphones on. Just put the headphones on, put your favorite station on, listen to music. And like she would just put the headphones on me and I would instantly calm down. Um, and then as I got older and I started to write poetry to calm myself down, um, that's when I started to realize I was like, oh my God, like music in different ways, like can just is an outlet, whether you're listening to it, writing it. Um, and then when I finally started getting decent, I thought at writing music, I would find beats on YouTube and I would just sit in my room for hours. And like anytime I would feel sad, I would just start to write. And if I felt like I couldn't write, I would put on my favorite songs. And there was like I used to listen to bands a lot. I had
Hmm.
an emo phase, crazy emo phase. So like it was a lot of like the band's music that I would put on and I'd be like, you know what, like life might not be too bad. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they went through this, you know what I mean? They're putting it in their music that they went through this. So now like I have a few songs that like they dive really deep into like suicide, depression, things like that. And I wasn't gonna put them out, but they're some of the first songs that I ever put out just for the sheer fact that I'm like, what if somebody else needs this song right now? Because like sometimes I listen to my own music and I cry because I'm like, holy shit, like this is really deep. And you know what I mean? Like it's just such an outlet in any way, shape, or form that you can, whether you're listening, writing, same thing with poetry.
There's always somebody out there that needs it.
Hmm.
Yep.
Definitely.
There's always somebody that's went through that same exact thing that you did. And if you can find a song that relates to that, sheesh.
Yeah. I have a song called "Through My Eyes." It talks about like you know, depression and anxiety. I performed it on stage one time, and then there was this one person who came up to me and said, "Yo, I've been going through all of what you were talking about in this song. Thank you for performing this, because like this is what gets me through, and like this is what I needed today. You know, this is like that's a great feeling."
Yeah, dude, 100%. And
Yeah,
then
it's
you don't feel as alone either, you know what I mean? You're like, "Oh, like, I'm not alone on this, somebody else went through it too."
More times than not, it resonates even more with the other person than it does yourself. You know what I
mhm.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it gives off like one of two things, like you said. Like either you feel like you're the only one that's going through it, and then somebody like reaches out and is like, "You, like, I'm right there with you, Bandcamp. What's up?"
Yeah.
You know, and on the flip side of it, it's I hope I know that there is somebody out there that is probably struggling with this that hasn't found the escape, but like here's maybe a method that might work for them. So here's my story, and I
Mhm,
hope they can hear this song, and as many songs that I've grown up with too, in the same way. It's just like you're feeling sad, yeah, let me just throw on a bunch of sappy sad songs for a little bit, and let me get through this, let me have my moment. Just had a breakup, yep, you best believe I'm gonna start listening to some old school R&B of sad breakup songs for sure. I'm mad at somebody, yo, let's throw some rock or some emo songs on and let's just rage out for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those, just having music has been just such a blessing in so many different ways of, again, just being able to escape for a little bit. We got to,
mhm,
it helped us come back to reality. Like you said, Amanda, there's the artists are going through the same things, and it's like, dude, somebody at such a high peak of a level at where they're at is still going through these things. Okay, like so, like not that my problems aren't bad, but it's like, you can be at the top and still go through these things. So, you
mhm.
know, they found a way to get through it. Like, let's do it together by just jamming out to your music.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%, dude.
Yeah. It's a beautiful feeling. Like I've had the same person keeps, they'll send me screenshots of them listening to my music. And again, it was one of those songs that I was like, this isn't exactly the song that I thought would, I just released it because it was something that I felt in my heart, and I put it out and I released it and I shared my thoughts, reflections from a beer glass. And it was literally just, at a time when I was drinking and just sharing my thoughts. How you're a lot of people, it's like you're in the shower, or like you're just sipping on a beer, and just all the thoughts start coming and you start reflecting on your life and all the things that are happening and just where you're at now. And that's kind of what I did in that song. And she was, and this was like 5 or 6 years after I released it, and she was like, yo, I'm still rocking to this song. I'm like,
That's
that
crazy.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, that's insane, and I'm here for it.
There's some people that rock like stuff when I first started before my first like official
Mhm.
album. They're like, "Yo, I still bump that." I'm like, "Really? That was trash." They're like, "What you mean?" Bumping it. I ain't, but thank you. I'm glad you are.
Mhm. How do you feel, Amanda, about the first music that you released?
It's actually funny you say that.
First.
Um, so there's a couple songs that to this day I still do like. Um, but my first ever official album, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan. There was there was a lot I didn't know when I put that album out.
Mm,
Um, like I didn't do a lot of highlights, I didn't do a lot of ad libs, like none of that. You know what I mean? Because I didn't think I needed them. I didn't think they would sound good.
yeah.
And then that was when I had became friends with some more artists and I learned, you know what I mean? Like, oh, maybe you should do that or take a word out of that and it'll sound better and little things like that. So I'm not a huge fan of my earlier music, but ironically enough, the first song that I ever released, which is called Highlight VIP, to this day, every week on every platform, it's my best song. And
Mm.
I'm like, y'all love this fucking song. And that's why I do have merch for it.
Hey.
It says "Look at me now, I'm icy." So when I first came to the scene and I started performing, obviously I didn't have a lot of songs out, and Highlight VIP is a pretty fun song to perform, so I would perform that a lot. And people literally knew me as like the icy girl, or they would just come up to me and be like, "Look at me now, I'm icy." Because I also do this little shimmy when I perform it, and like they just loved it. They latched onto it. So like to this day, like I'm not a huge fan of this song anymore because for me it's just super overplayed. but
Mm.
like my first song ever released is still my best song in every way.
That's dope. That's dope. I love stuff like that. Like, yeah, my first project. I mean, I do kind of like it, but like quality wise, like trash. Like trash. I mixed and mastered it myself. I recorded it on GarageBand. I did everything by myself. The interface was trash. The mic was trash. Like everything was like sound quality wise was just bad. But it's, you gotta, as long as you start somewhere and then just add on from there, learn and grow from there. You just build on it instead of not doing it at all.
100%. And I do like to look back and like see the progress. Like listening to a song that I did 3 years ago versus a song that I did 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, wow, like I did come a long way. And
Mhm.
so I used to do covers on YouTube a lot too. When I was like 12, between like 12 and 17, I posted covers on YouTube. But when I was like 19, I deleted them all because
Mm,
they were so bad. Like they're not legit. I was just in my room playing a song in the background and recording on like a little Android phone.
mm,
So I was like, these are bad. People are gonna, you know what I mean, think I suck if they see this. But now I wish I kept them so that
mm,
I could go back. And like that's one thing I regret so bad is deleting my old videos from when I was really young. Cause it's like, damn, like I can't even like see the progress anymore. I could feel it because I
mm.
know what I was doing, but the videos are gone and I wish I kept them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Yeah, sometimes I even just listen to my music, like some of my old music. Like I mean, I'll be honest. Like I have a playlist on my phone of just my music, and I'll sometimes, I mean, one just to like, remember your lyrics. Uh,
Hmm.
but also just, again, it's just more of a reflection piece, and then also just like a pick me up, and hearing the music that I've created and being like, dude, like no, like you, like view it from a listener lens for a second and be like, dude, no, you really do make good music. Not like tooting your own horn, but like what you put together is really good. Just keep building on it and keep growing in it. Like it's not bad. Like cuz I've made songs and I've heard that I've made and I'm like, no, this is really bad. Like don't release it, don't put it out. It's really bad. But then the stuff that I do release, I'm like, no, dude, like you do, like when you really create the right way that you want to create, like you make really good music. So keep going. Like don't worry about everybody else. Just keep making the great music that you make, and there will be that just one person that's gonna latch onto it that will message you months later and be like, "Yo, I've been rocking with this song, and that's why it's your Apple number 1 for we every single week." You know,
100%. All it takes is that one person, man. That's all it takes.
Yep.
that's what I mean. Honestly, like I said, that one person that sends me the shot, I'm like, all right, I keep going. you know, that's all that for me. That's all it takes. I mean, other than just like pumping yourself up, but sometimes it's like, again, you have that moment of just like, is this really what I need to do? And then you get that, and you're like, yeah, all right, I'm good.
Yeah.
Keep going.
100%. We're all, I feel like, our own worst critics. Like, I can't think of a single artist out there that doesn't criticize themselves at least like once or twice in a great while. You know what I mean? Like, I know some people do think they're perfectionists and they can't get any better. They're the best they can be. But at the end of the day, like, everybody does have that. And it's no matter what you do, too, whether you make music, whether you're painting, you're always going to be your own worst enemy, your own worst critic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the people on the outside are like, oh my God, that's so great. You're like, no, it's terrible. I need to work on it. Like, that's why I do try to get that outside perspective sometimes. Like I'll latch onto this guy or Crispy who's not here. Shout out to Crispy, by the way.
Yeah,
Uh,
shout out Crispy.
you're and or just like outside people, and just be like, hey, can you just like listen to this for a second? Because like I feel like I'm in my own head, and then they'll be like, yeah, no, dude, like take yourself off the ledge. Like you're fine. You're just overthinking it. You are being your worst critic right
Yeah.
now. A
Hmm.
little too heavy. So just, I'm like, okay, all right, I got it. I got it. And then I can continue to create.
But there was this one part where I just felt a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
lost.
And then you're like,
that there. But no, 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 no,
Keep
no.
it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. Nope. You already said it was fine. You already said it was fine.
Yeah, no double back. No double
Yeah.
back.
You can't double back. No, no, no.
And
Where's
like
the?
going back to
Go ahead.
you know, taking a second to like reel it back. Like once you get to a certain point, it's important to do because you know then you know you're taking. I mean, it gets to be a lot at times. Like sometimes it gets to be too much for you know just one person. So I forgot where I was gonna go with that, but
I know I felt like you had this like deep dive question. Sorry, I was like, yo, I'm gonna grab some water because
forgot what I was gonna say.
I was like, yo, he's gonna go in. Let me grab some water real quick, and then he was like,
Well, yeah, I mean that like once you reel it back, that's when you like going forward will make your best stuff because like you're talking about like your current experiences and where you are now. You want people to know that, so you know it's carrying ourselves, not just you, but like everybody, like everybody within like the next, you know, 5, 10 years, 15, 20. You know that's something important to remember
For
to
sure.
to keep yourself in it.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, there was something I was gonna ask you too. Dang it, you threw me off, man. You should have let me know. I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
Talk
Uh,
about professional. No, I'm kidding.
I know,
I
right?
know, right? Did you have?
I'm sure it's dope, Jay.
Yeah,
So
right.
no matter how you say it, like
All right, I don't need the confidence boost right now, man. See, I get it even on a podcast. When it's not music, it's the podcast, and when it's not the podcast,
See?
clothing. You know, another thing too, like I be so hard on myself with like the clothing stuff, and people are like, "No, I love that shirt." I'm like, I clearly don't see what you see at first glance, but again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and sometimes what's not for me could be for somebody else, and that's again how I try to take music is like, okay, that one person may not like it, but like somebody else might, so it's like everybody can just kind of absorb music in their own wonderful way. Dang, there was a question I was gonna ask you. I was trying to like reel it back in and try to capture it as I was talking, but I just can't.
Oh, damn.
It's always happens. No, I don't want to say it always happens, but did you have any? I feel like you had one more in there at least.
I had, yeah.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it for sure. But I know that he's got.
So it's a good closing piece. Like how much have you grown as a person like since starting your journey?
Ooh, I like that question a lot.
Yeah, the
Um,
good like rolling to that.
so it's funny because like I was already like transforming into a new person because so like I said earlier, I've wanted to do music my whole entire life. I just never had the confidence. I never thought I was good enough. Like I thought that I was gonna walk in the studio and somebody was gonna be like, I'm not recording you. Like this is trash. So finally back in like 2022, I had just gotten out of a toxic relationship. We were together for almost 2 years. And I had like started writing music more when I was in that relationship because like I didn't really have any other outlets to go to. Um, so when me and him had broken up, um like I'm like refinding myself because like I lost a lot of friends. I didn't know who I was anymore. Like it was one of those situations where I had to rebuild who I was as a person and figure out who I wanted to be. So it was like the perfect timing. Somebody had hit me up, Ace Skrilla, actually, shout out to Ace Skrilla. He hit me up and he was like, I see your social media presence. Do you do music? And I was like, funny you say that. I've always wanted to, but I just don't. And that's when he hooked me up with Shiggy, who's still my engineer to this day. And the song that he had me on, because he wanted me on a song, was like perfect. 'Cause it was about toxic relationships. I had just gotten out of one. And that's when like I realized I was like, this is who I want to be. Like I want to be the person that makes relatable music. I want to be the person that can just do what I want and be free and write about what I want and go travel and do all these things. So like I felt like I was kind of a piece of shit for those 2 years that I was in a relationship. Because of course I, you know what I mean, just became somebody that I wasn't. And in my journey through music, meeting all these different people and doing all these different things, podcasts, things like that, like it's really helped me realize like that there's a whole world out there. You know what I mean? There's all these different types of people that you can talk to and things like that. And it really just made me become this like social networking, I can talk to anybody and you know what I mean, type of person. So I feel like overall, like I just like I have a bigger heart. I feel like I learned so much like about people in the last few years that I've done music. Um, and yeah, I feel like overall it's just made me such a better person and being able to realize who I am and like I'm not the person that I was.
Yeah.
I love me a good
That's dope.
breakup
That's
rap.
huge. Yeah.
I've done
I
a
got a
few.
lot of songs about that relationship too. That's another thing. I got a lot of good music out of that.
Yeah, I love those. Like those moments are so hard to go through, but as an artist, you're like, yo, I love yo material for days.
Yo, I
Like,
tell people all the time, I'm like, I will most likely write about you. Like, you won't know it, but I'll probably write about you.
I've had a couple people, maybe not like extremely like hard diss bar, but I've definitely thrown some shade a little bit at some people that were a little scummy to me, and just in past life, and they've heard this song and they're like, "Yo, were you talking about me?" And I'm like, I don't know if the shoe fits, maybe,
Nah, that's how it is.
but it's like, listen, sometimes you just maybe,
It's like
maybe
I can make it about you.
yeah,
Right.
Come on.
yeah. And I feel like at the end of the day, I know, I feel like when I just did that, I was like, no, screw him, take him on the screen. But it's like
This track. No.
yeah, right. Oh, great. Here we go. Life's gonna have a diss track on me tomorrow. I feel like too in those moments, it really isn't about them. It's about us trying to process and get through what they did to us. But it's like our process. It's like, no, like you're
Mhm.
gone. Like you're not in this process anymore. It's just me and like me trying to deal with this. So the way that I'm gonna deal with it is I'm just gonna write about you for a couple
Yeah.
for a song or maybe an album or two. Who knows how long, gonna get through this, because there's been moments, maybe not like relationship breakups, but definitely just hard times and experiences. I'm like, yo, bro, why do I have 3 albums of just hard stuff that I've been through right now? It took me 3 albums to get through it, and I'm in a much better place, and I'm cool, and I'm calm, and I'm much better.
Yeah.
So if it took 3 albums for me to just kind of share all of that, well, then here you go. Because I'm sure there's somebody out there that went through maybe some of these hard times,
Yeah.
and they can also learn from my hardship, and that it doesn't necessarily happen overnight, and that it maybe takes 3 albums worth of time to get through it. Say,
Mhm.
2-3 years, however long it takes someone to muster up an album. Yeah. So I mean, it's all Jesus. All depends on how you
Don't knock
look at
down
it.
the equipment.
I
You know what
know,
I mean?
right? That's all we need. We had the power outage last time.
Oh
Shit,
yeah.
rip through.
Oh dang.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, we still got the film, but it was just, just the waiting around for it. But hey,
Yeah.
everything worked out. We had a beautiful pod, and it was wonderful. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's all in how you look at it. It's all in how you look at it. You can either, use this music as a tool to help others and help yourself, or, I mean, there are people out there that are just in it for the fame and the money, and I just feel like at the end of the day, you're just not going to be as happy as you could be just doing it because you love it.
Yeah.
You know.
And there's
Mhm.
much more longevity in that.
I definitely have like the utmost respect for people who do it just for the love of it. You know what I mean? And not for the fame, the money, and stuff like that. Because what are you doing really if you're not loving it?
Right. And it may pop for, a month or two. It's probably it though, you know? But like
Right.
the more authentic you are, like it's just gonna carry on throughout the rest of our lives.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's
That's something to be really proud about.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like all my favorite music that I've ever loved throughout my life are from people that have had that longevity. Like the music that really like hits my soul. Yeah, there's you have your couple outliers of singles and those trending songs that happened at that one time, but it's like the songs that like I'll go back to this album, these tracks like consistently, like they're all for at least for me, they're all people that have had that longevity from just being their true and authentic self in their music. You know what I mean? Like Joe Budden, Linkin Park, uh, NF, um, what's his name? Jeez, what the hell?
Kanye West.
You know, like all these different people, um, just continuing that just natural authenticity of it.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me inspired to listen more.
Yeah.
I feel that.
So, anything else you want to share? Anything, any other things that you want to let the people know before we kind of close up a little bit? I know you mentioned a couple things that you have coming out, but maybe also just share like where people can tap in, reach out to you, and get connected with you as well.
Yeah. So my social medias, Instagram is Batmanda Marie 1, TikTok is Batmanda Marie 2, Facebook is just Amanda Marie. I just dropped a song last month called Robin, along with a music video. And then my next drop is gonna be June 6th called The Notebook, which is a totally different, like totally opposite ends of the spectrum. So I'm excited for that. I plan on dropping a song every other month this year, along with some type of visual. So definitely stay tuned. You know what I mean? I'm always promoting shows. I have a lot of out of state shows coming up. I also plan on going to a different state each month,
Mhm.
starting in July, um, for the rest of the year. So I'm pretty excited for that. There's a lot coming up. So just kind of stay tuned in the posts.
Yeah. That's a good goal, you know what I mean? Like I feel like some people try to like have these crazy goals of things that they want to do. Like, oh, I want to like do like 40 shows in like a month. You're like, yeah, that sounds really cool. But like I'm saying in the sense of because it's something that I'm aspiring to do too, as you mentioned, doing a show in a different state, every month. Like that just sounds, what I'm saying, it sounds like a very logical, very reasonable, like attainable goal. Because
You got to
some,
start small and work your way up.
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean. Then it's 2 states per, maybe per month or whatever, and just build up into that. Then it's a tour, and then, now you're in, I don't know, whatever, 10 cities in 2 weeks or whatever type of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, and you manage that. But no, again, I just like when I just hear things, and I'd like to just shout out people that are trying to do it right, have attainable goals, and just have a good solid vision on what it is that they're trying to do. So shout out to that for sure. Are you
Sure,
are you
man.
are you a Batman fan? Is that why you have
I don't like Batman. No.
wait?
I'm joking. I'm
I,
joking.
okay,
I got you.
I was like, yo, that would have been the biggest plot
I
twist in the right
the
mind for
fact that
America.
people actually believe me when I say no sometimes. But
I
yeah, no,
was
I've been a Batman fan my whole life. One of the first movies I ever remember liking was the OG live action Batman. And ever since then, I've
like,
just always been a fan.
yeah. What's your favorite, like outside the live action? What would you say is your favorite one?
Like if we're talking animated series, then
Oh, actually, no. Yeah, sorry, I'm confusing the two. Even though I know what the difference is, but we'll say live action. Live action. What's your favorite?
okay, live action.
Yeah.
That's so tough. I want to say it's a toss up between Batman Forever and then Batman and Robin.
Ooh, you went old school. Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like I definitely go old school. I mean the new live actions like The Dark Knights and stuff like that, those are obviously like really good movies too. Same with the new Batman. The new Batman was fire too.
Hmm.
Um Very underrated for Robert Pattinson. But yeah, the classics are my favorite, and like I don't know if it's just because that's what I grew up watching. Like every other weekend I was putting in the VCR of like the
Yeah.
classic Batmans.
Okay.
Like
There
the
we go.
VCR tapes of those. So like I don't know if it's just because it's my childhood.
That's
But
fair.
like even to this day I watch them and like they're really good. I mean, they're obviously a little corny because, we're talking like back in the day, but
Yeah.
I like them.
Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, and
Yes, they're like, come on, how can you not?
yeah,
Poison Ivy? Come on.
yeah. No, I do remember that one. That one was. I
Yeah.
I think I think my favorite was probably Dark Knight. I mean, I may have a little hand on the Joker, obviously, and just the
Mhm.
circumstance and all of that too. But I liked his role too. I just like the way he captured the role of it too. Um, so that might be my favorite one is the Dark Knight.
That's
For sure.
fair. It's a good one. It's definitely a good one.
Yeah, it's definitely one. But I get what you're saying with some of those older like the Batman and Robin ones. It's like okay.
I feel like they paved the way.
Mm-hmm. It's like I don't know if you watch like slasher films or anything like that, but you look back at obviously you have like your newer Friday the 13th one with all like the nice, cool blood and gore and all the graphics and cool stuff. But then like you look at the older ones and you're like, dude, I can totally tell that this is just pre animation of anything, and they were trying to make it gory, and you're just like, I just have like a deep like appreciation for that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I think it's like kind of that same or similar kind of person,
Right.
but just the appreciation of it. But yeah, I used to love that Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. He was crazy. He was crazy.
It's such a random thing when you think about it. Like it's just so random.
Yeah, he's called Mr. Freeze, and you're like, oh, dude, can't unsee the Arnold in this right now. But it was so good. It was so
Yeah.
dude. Because I ain't gonna. I know we were just like kind of wrapping up, but it's cool. I'm here. I'm happy for this. Like even seeing him like when he cried and like you see the mist and the tear like fall off his face, you're like, dude, like you got me like tear jerking in my seat right now. Like this is
For
crazy.
real.
You're like, man, I did not know Mr. Freeze and Arnold Schwarzenegger could make me just tear up a little bit on my couch.
Seriously.
But like I'm here for it. So yeah. I do remember that. I actually think I have the VHS somewhere around here. In
I
the
got
house.
the DVDs now. I don't have the VHSs anymore, but I do have them on DVD. All of them.
I'm gonna have to find it. See if it's on. I don't think it's on Netflix, but maybe like Hulu or.
I think HBO has
Mm,
a lot of Batman. They have a lot of the animated ones. I don't know if HBO has because they have a contract with DC, but I don't know if they have the live
ah,
actions. But I know they have all the animated stuff.
maybe Disney Plus because I know they have a mix of DC.
Disney's been good with that stuff lately.
Yeah, good with the Marvel and the DC. So maybe I'll
Mhm.
maybe Google it because I know Google will tell you where it's all.
Right,
But HBO, I could definitely see HBO having some sort of hand in that too. So
for sure.
word. I just want to super say thank you for your time. This has been super dope. Thank you for
Yeah.
just sharing a little bit about yourself. I know we didn't get to touch on a lot of different things, but there is always next time as well. We would love to have you back to just dive a little bit deeper, give people even more of an opportunity to get to know you. This is definitely, we're here as a platform for you to help share what that is and share your music and all of those things that make Amanda Marie who Amanda Marie is.
For sure, man. I appreciate you guys for having me. It means a lot, I love anybody that, does podcasts and stuff like that because it's like you're actually not only doing yourselves a favor, but you're doing other people a favor.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I respect you guys a lot and I would love to
Yeah,
be back.
yeah.
I do plan on coming towards that way end of the year. So
So
maybe we could do like an in-person pod thing. Um, but yeah, dude, I appreciate it. I had a great time.
word. It's good to hear. You can be honest. You can be like, "Hey, you guys are kind of dry with the
Bullshit.
questions," you know.
No, I mean, honestly, I was bored out of my mind, dude. I couldn't wait to get off.
All
No,
right.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I had a great time. I had a great time.
No, I appreciate it. I want to say just, God bless to everybody. Appreciate everybody that has been tuning into this episode. Shout out to Minds of One Collective Genius. Shout out to the team, MOCG. I want to say shout out to Crispy, who is not here, but doing the daddy thing. Love it. I should say dad thing. I feel like daddy is like
That
younger.
was a little sus. I can't cap. That
Oh,
was
shout out to Crispy doing the dad thing. This kid is 13, 14 years
He's
old. I don't
15.
know
He
why. I
just turned
apologize.
15.
See, it
He's almost as tall as I am. That's crazy.
it
He's like
is.
2 inches shorter
He
now.
is.
I'm
It's
6'2".
I'm sorry guys, it's been a very long week. If you've caught the last episode into what I've been going through this week, it's been a very long week. So please bear with me. But thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to Crispy doing the dad thing. MoCG for his glory. Grab your Christian apparel. J_Faith official for 15% off. But until next time, my name is Jay Faith.
Life on the rise.
And we also have in front of us
Amanda Marie.
and this is the Right Mind Podcast. We'll catch y'all next time.
What's
What's
up?
up?